construction has already begun at Alton Towers for Project Ocean, despite the fact that, to the best of everyone's knowledge, planning permission hasn't been approved, or if it has, it's not been updated yet. So the question is though, what ride are they putting there? Now in this video I'm going to speculate some very random, weird and wonderful rides. I've looked through various catalogues from all the different manufacturers. There's some obvious ones in there that people have speculated already, myself included, and there's some weird and wacky ones in there that would be interesting to see if Alton Towers went with them. Personally, the last one on this list, I would love to see, so make sure you stick around for that one. Alright, so let's get the obvious ones out of the way first, because most people, and I have been guilty of saying this myself, have speculated that potentially Ripsaw is coming back. Potentially not called Ripsaw, but a topspin. Now, it seems, there's speculation they've done some work with Huss Rides. They've not said anything, the park themselves, but Huss Rides kind of indicated they may have at IAAPA not that long ago. If you look at Huss's topspins, they don't fit the envelope that they've specified for this ride. So it'd be interesting to see if that was the case. Is it a custom one, or are they going with a different manufacturer? And actually that ties in with a number of the rides on this. They're maybe slightly out in dimensions, either a little bit small or a little bit large. But again, there's nothing to say that Towers couldn't get a customized version. So Topspin's the first one. Personally, I'd quite like to see this. I never rode Ripsaw when it was here, but I have been on Talican at Phantasialand, which is spectacular, and if they theme this up and make a ride to that calibre, then we are in for something special. Now another one that I've seen a few people speculate is a Screaming Swing. Now I've been on the one in Thorpe Park, and I have been on one over in America in Busch Gardens, in one of the parks over there. I'm not sure that we would get away with that because it's a particularly noisy ride, and we know the neighbours at Towers don't like a little bit of noise, even though they live next to a park. And potentially it would be outside the clearance zone, so I'm not sure that would happen, but I think it would be a very stunning thing to walk in through that entrance and see this massive giant swing. So potentially we could have that. A ride that would comfortably fit in that envelope, in fact probably is a little bit on the small side, and we've seen them popping up around various parks. We've got one here in the UK, and that is the Zamperla Nebula. Now, they are visually stunning to see the way they interact, and they all kind of swivel around with each other. They have a terrible ride throughput though. They are not the best ride in that respect, because you've got to load one side, then you've got to flip it over, unload, and then load the other side, and then there's the cycle, and I'm not sure that would work for them because I think the throughput on it is just terrible, and it is quite small. But again, it would be quite stunning visually as you walk in through that entrance of the park. Okay, so that's the obvious ones that many people have kind of speculated. What about some weird ones? As I say, I've gone through all the ride manufacturers' catalogues for their off-the-shelf rides. And the first one I've got here is by Huss Rides. Now they call this the Giant, and in the examples they give, it's basically a giant King Kong holding onto a kind of carriage and shaking it around and twisting the passengers around. Don't think if we were to get something like this it would be King Kong themed, and I don't think it has to be, but you could see the alien, the Nemesis monster, or another Nemesis monster. They've obviously got all these eggs now that, back in Subterra in the museum. So potentially there's going to be, a monster that's kind of shaking you as you enter that part of the park. You never know, that could happen. Another one that would be visually quite appealing, and I think that's probably a key thing here. Most of the rides that I've got on this list would have some sort of visual element, and I think given that there's this sort of tunnel, we don't know for sure, but it feels like they're intentionally segregating Galactica off. Everyone said, myself included, whole video on it, that it sticks out like a sore thumb, right? You've got the whole of Forbidden Valley now that is beautiful, themed, it's immersive, it is spectacular, and then you've got this dirty B&M ride sitting in the corner. So it feels like they are intentionally kind of sectioning it off. Now whether they then develop that into another area or not, who knows? But the point is, they're making a big thing about this flat ride they're putting in. It's there with a purpose, so I think they want it to be visually appealing. And another ride that would give that motion as you walk into the area is a Fabry Aladdin ride. Now, effectively that's kind of like a magic carpet, and probably the example you can all think of is Quantum down in Thorpe Park. But again, that has a high throughput, it is a family-friendly ride, so I think that would be the kind of ride they're looking for and would complement the area quite well. They could theme that up. Not sure how they could tie that in, but that's where Merlin and Magic Making do their thing. So another one that probably isn't going to happen, but so one that I don't think I've seen in a park, at least I don't know any instances of this being installed, is a Mond Blender, which is an odd ride. I'll put up some images, and if I can find a video I will put one up. But effectively it's kind of like Ripsaw-esque in that there's two arms and you're kind of getting spun around, but the central bar holds a couple of sets of carriages that rotate, and the central arms don't move in parallel, so you're getting this twisting action, which again I think would be spectacular. It's got these two kind of main arms at the side, and we know that they've got these two theming pieces down the side, so it feels like potentially the ride's going to have some supports there. Whether they are the themed elements or whether they're additional, who knows. But this one I've not seen, and again, I think Towers, they like to do their firsts or do something unique, so maybe a ride like this would fit perfectly. Another one that would be a little more thrilling, and I don't know how well this would fit in because they could put this in two different orientations, is the SPFV's Space Gun. Now, this is, I mean, this kind of looks like two pirate ships that go completely upside down. So maybe a little bit submission-esque, but without the kind of rotating gondolas. They're just fixed and the whole arm spins round. But it's got two arms that kind of go in opposing directions. So again, high throughput, lots of riders, visually stunning, and you know, could be that kind of almost like, you could see it being like, maybe not axes, but something coming down as you're kind of walking in, and I think that would be visually very, very cool. Again, probably not what they're going to go with, but I'm just looking at everything I can find online. Now this last one, I think I've only seen one instance of this one online over in China. There may be others, I don't know. This looks fantastic, and I would personally love this to be the option they go with. It's by Inman, and I don't know how you pronounce this. Tourbillon? I'll put the text up because that's probably French. Anyway, this thing is, you'll have seen it, right? So there probably are more than just the instance in China, but it's basically a series of rigs, effectively, that rotate in different directions. So it's a little bit like a row of seats similar to Ripsaw, but it rotates in 3 different axes, 4 different axes. So you're kind of spinning around in all sorts of directions and very disorientated, and that would be stunning as a piece there. Again, if you look at the dimensions on Intamin's website, kind of doesn't fit. But I'm sure they could ask them to just chop a few seats off and move it in a little bit, custom build. I personally, this is, of the ones that I've come across, if it isn't Ripsaw, because I would love to see another topspin come back, this is the one I would personally love to see. So I guess we'll find out soon, because as I say, construction has begun. I don't know how quickly they'll be able to put this thing together, or when it'll open. Like, are we getting this in the summer? Are they going to build it but not open it till next year? Unknown. It kind of feels a little bit early to be starting if it's for next year, because flat rides don't take long. Granted, they've got to build the structure, so maybe we'll see this for the summer. Who knows? I'm down and out on Towers next week, so I'll be being nosy and seeing where they're getting on with the construction. Let me know what you think. If any of these weird and wacky ones I've come up with you'd love to see. I suspect most of these aren't even on the table, but I'm just having a bit of a laugh. If there's any other rides that I've missed that you think it will be, please let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit subscribe. I've been Chris, you've been watching Coaster Dad. See you in Alton Towers.